Hi, Joanne. Happy Tuesday. Hello, everybody. Comment as you're rolling in here. Nice to see everybody on this Tuesday. I'm excited about this week's projects. Welcome everyone to my Tuesday Facebook Live with the Wexford Stamper. I'm Barbara Reed, the Wexford Stamper, and I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today we are digging into the one of the new hot trends in cards that I was totally late to the party about, but finally got into it. And we are going to talk a little bit about slimline cards today, and we're going to make one. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about a slimline card share that I'm going to have and invite other friends to join me. And I will post all our shares on my blog that we can inspire lots and lots of friends. Hi, April. And if you are interested in participating, I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of our time. But yes, we're going to talk about slimline cards, and there's lots of different sizes of slimline cards, but I think I found the perfect size, and I'll tell you why. All right, well, I'm going to get started. Today, slimline card that we are going to create is this gorgeous card made using the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set and dies. Isn't that so pretty? I just love this card. And I was inspired by a lot of the different cards that I saw on Pinterest. And then at the same time, I had a wedding to go to last weekend, and this was the card I came up with. Obviously, this isn't the same card. I actually gave that to them. But this is a second one that I made, and I am just kind of addicted now to making them. Super fun. I have some other samples to show you towards the end. But let's talk a little bit about what a slimline card is first. And I made this little, being the teacher I made this little handout to help you understand a little better about what a slimline card is and the envelope, because I'm going to teach you how to make the envelope that the card will go in as well. So what is a slimline card and envelope? All right, for the card, you're going to cut a piece of cardstock at 8 3/4 by 7. All right, well, let's grab my cardstock. We're gonna make the same card. So I'm gonna use, this is a piece of 8 1/2 by 11. So we're gonna have to do some cutting before we make the card. So let's take a look here. It tells us to cut it at 8 3/4 by 7. All right, so I'm gonna bring in my trimmer. And I'm going to take the long way here first, and I'm going to cut it out here at 8 3/4. And I'm going to use my cutting blade. And it's 8 3/4 by 7. So that's the size of the piece of cardstock we're going to start with. 8 3/4 by 7. Okay, now before it can be a card, we're going to have to score it. All right, and we're going to score it on the short side. This is the 7-inch side, and half of 7 is 3 1/2. So that's where you're going to score it. Okay, and then we're just going to fold it. So that is the slimline card. All right, easy as that. That's the size that it is. So if you're looking at the card here, the card front is going to be 8 3/4 inches long, and from the fold at the top, it's going to be 3 1/2. All right, so this is your card base for your slimline card. Now, the reason I thought this was a great size was two things. You can use a piece of cardstock that's 8.5 by 11 exactly to make the envelope, or if you don't want to make the envelope, you can just use a business envelope. You guys probably have these around your house, okay? Back when we used to send our bills in an envelope in the good old days. These business size envelopes are perfectly sized for the card. So if you don't feel like making an envelope or you don't feel it's necessary for the card, you can always use a business size envelope. So that was another great thing I liked about it. Yes, April, the scoring tool is in the catalog. It's the Simply Scored scoring board. It's awesome. Love it. Dory can fix you up. All right, so this is our base here, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on our card. Let me bring in my sample again. All right, now since the base of the card, the front of the card base is 3.5 by 8 3/4, our first layer is going to be in early espresso, and I'm just taking a 1/4 inch off each of the lengths. So this is going to be 8.5 by 3 1/4. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere that right away. Because as we layer our layers, I guess that's why they're called layers, you layer them, on the front of our card, each layer is a 1/4 inch smaller or shorter than the layer underneath. Okay, so there is our first one. Boy, looked like I had a disaster crime scene here with the glue. So that is the first layer. It's just a 1/4 inch different than the card front. All right, now for the next one, again, we're gonna take a 1/4 inch off. All right, so that's gonna make it 8 1/4 by 3. Okay, so that's the next layer, but before we put that on our card, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to stamp it. Okay, and I'm excited that we're gonna use one of the brand new colors. This is Bumblebee. This is one of the new colors. Great, great fall color. Love it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring in my big sunflower image from the stamp set, and I think I have it here. Let me show you the images in the stamp set because we're going to be using many of them. We're going to use the big one, and then on my card I also used 2 of the smaller sunflower images, and then I used some of the leaves, and of course I used the Let's Celebrate You sentiment. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the background here. Now I'll bring in my card again. And you notice I just kind of randomly stamped the large sunflower on the Whisper White piece. I know. Oh, no, I didn't kill him. Almost. I was mad enough to, but I didn't. Yes, Tom was not cooperating last night. I had to poke him in the head. All right, so let's go ahead and just gonna look at how gorgeous that color is. I just love the Bumblebee. And I'm just going to, want to get a little bit there on the bottom. I'm gonna oops, I brought the stamp pad along that time. And I'm just gonna randomly stamp and cover the Whisper White with this gorgeous, gorgeous sunflower image. I adore this set. And I'm going to put another one up here in the corner after I get that little piece of goo off. And it's going to go, I better move you so I don't get it on you. There we go. So there's our card front, kind of the background images. Isn't that so pretty? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere that to my card front right away. And then we'll get started on our die cut images. All right, let's go ahead and put him on. So there is the base of our card, so pretty. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start stamping these images that we die cut and put on the front. All right, we're going to start with the large sunflower. All right, now I'm going to be changing inks for him this time, and I'm going to be inking him up using Memento ink because we're going to be using blends to color. Did you, April? Yeah, we went to one down in Southern York County. There's a gorgeous sunflower field. It is that time of year. They are so gorgeous. All right, so now I'm going to take, and this is such a big stamp. I like to do this way because then you're sure you're getting all the ink where you need to be. Because when the stamp is bigger than the pad, it gets a little harder to cover your stamp the other way. All right, so I'm just going to stamp this on a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I just love the detail of that stamp. It is just such a beautiful stamp. Now I'm going to grab my blends and do a little bit of coloring, and I've done this coloring in many different ways, but I'm just going to kind of show you my favorite way to do it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the the petals with a dark Daffodil Delight. Okay, and you're going to notice that I'm not going right down to the middle. I'm leaving a little bit of white at the bottom of the petal because I'm going to come in with a different color and do a little bit of mixing at that point. So I'm just going to keep on going around. Remember, whenever you use your blends on your images, you want to make sure that you're using the Memento ink, because that will not allow any runs, or your image will stay nice and clear and crisp. So I am just continuing around the flower. And I'm not worrying too much on this one about shading and everything, as far as lighter and darker of the Daffodil Delight. I'm just going with the real dark, because I'll tell you, the sunflowers I saw, we went to Flinchbaw's farm market, and they have a big field out behind them, and it's pick your own sunflowers. I'll tell you, the stems on those things, they're taller than me, and the stems were like as thick as a tree trunk. I mean, I was shocked at some of the thicknesses of the gorgeous sunflowers, but it's such a beautiful, beautiful view. So, and the bees were loving it too. I think I saw bees on every single flower. All right, so there is the Daffodil Delight, all done. Then what I do is I bring in the dark Mango Melody, and the reason I do that is because Mango Melody has a bit of a orange tint to it. I'm going to use the bullet point again. So it gives the flower a little bit of an orange color. So as I color in the base here with the Mango Melody, I go a little bit up the petal and mix it a little. But as you see me going around, you can see the orange coming out there in the inside of the flower. I just love that. And it kind of mixes, and then as I go up towards the Daffodil Delight, it all kind of blends together, and it looks like I'm a fabulous artiste, which I'm not. So that's why I love my blends. But there we go. So I just went around and filled in, and then kind of went up the petals a little bit to give them a little bit of an orange contrasting color. So there it is. Isn't that so pretty? Wow, $1 a flower. Holy moly. I would have come home with a lot of those, April. Yep. All right. So now for the center, I'm sticking with my light, soft suede. Excuse me, trying to talk today. I love the detail that they have on this stamp on the center. All the little dots where all those little sunflower seeds are. I just love it. And then what I do is I keep my light and I just kind of go around the edge, another layer, and that darkens it up a little bit around the edge to give it a little bit of contrast. So there is my sunflower. Isn't that the most gorgeous thing? I just think that's so easy, and you can make it so gorgeous. All right, so next thing I need to do is cut this out of my paper, and to do that, I'm going to bring in my brand new cutting and embossing machine from Stampin' Up. These have just become available, and I love it. It's great. It is very substantial, and it does a great job cutting. It's a little more quiet than our other one was, and it's just a beautiful design. Very pretty, very sleek. So I am over the moon about it. I guess you could probably tell. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line up. This is probably the hardest part to find. There we go. You got to find the exact petals. I'm going to line that up on my... Now they don't have a magnetic platform ready yet, so I've just been using the regular, and I really haven't had that much trouble. If you want to, you can add a little piece of washi tape or a Post-it note that holds it down, so you don't have to worry about it jumping. But I just do it regular. All right, let's go ahead and pull that out, and there is our sunflower. Whoa, that was just a... All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some things to our board, our card here. And I've done some of the coloring and cutting out already, and I'll show you the pieces that I've used. I cut out 2 of the mini sunflowers, and those are so cute too. I love those. I don't know, Joanne. I measured it up with the old platform, and the platform on this one is a little different size. They have not let us know when a new magnetic platform will be available, but I will let you know as soon as I find out. All right, so I made 2 of these, and then I actually only need 2 of these, but I got a little industrious and cut out 3. So all these items are going to go ahead and go on to my card front. So... oh, and don't let me forget this piece here. This is cut out using this die in the die set. And I cut it out of gold glimmer paper. And I just love that. I just think that's gorgeous. And it's such a great addition to it. I just like it for the kind of the fall look of it. But... you can use other colors as well, and I'll show you something in a little bit to show you how you can use something other than the gold if you want to. All right, so first thing we're going to do is start layering our pieces on here. So first, well, actually we need to do some embossing first. All right, right here, the Let's Celebrate You, we need to emboss that. And I have a piece of the early espresso here, cut at 1 by 8 1/4. All right, so we're going to do some embossing. How many of you out there love to emboss? I think it's a lot of fun. It really gives a lot of wow to your card. So I'm going to first take my little embossing buddy, and this takes away the extra static that might be there that might make the embossing powder stick where we don't want it. All right, so I'm going to grab the sentiment, which is Let's Celebrate You. And for this, I use a stamp pad called Versamark. And this is kind of like a glue almost. It's a very sticky ink, and where it goes is where your embossing powder will stick. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on my strip here. Okay, and you can kind of see where it is there. Okay, I'm going to put that away. And now the next part is I'm going to bring in some of the white embossing powder. And what you do very carefully, and try not to make a mess, and I'm not always too good at that. I'm going to put my little strip of paper down here into the embossing powder and just run the embossing powder over where I stamped. And there you can see how easy that is. The embossing powder will stick wherever the Versamark was. All right, and if you have some that sticks somewhere else that you don't like, you can either rub it away with your finger, or you can use a little paintbrush. All right, so now I'm going to grab my heating tool, and this is also available in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to heat up the embossing powder, and this is where the magic happens. I love doing this, especially with the white, and you can really tell when the heat starts melting the embossing powder. You can kind of see the white ink just kind of lights up. And you don't have to worry about after it's heated up, can I touch it? You can, because this is the heat from this heating tool dries it and makes it almost like a little plastic layer. So there you go. See? Now you can see how gorgeous that looks now being embossed. All right, so let's go ahead and slide our card in. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this right to the card front. All right, where's my glue? But the embossing really, really adds something nice to your card. And you could actually, a thought I just had was you could emboss in gold, and then it would match the gold glitter paper that you have on there as well. So whatever you like, that's what makes it fun. You can do it your way. All right, so there is my card. Now we're ready to start piling on all our awesome pieces here. First thing I want to do is go ahead and take my gold piece, and this is another thing, you got to match it up. It's like a little puzzle. Okay, let's see. All right, there. Okay, so I'm going to match it up, and I'm going to glue it down just in the center because I like the gold edges to kind of be free to hang out wherever they like. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's get it right back in the spot where it belongs. It's over here. All right, come on, Barb. You had this before. Just got to turn it around till you find the right place. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. Where in the world was it? I didn't think I was that far off. There we go. All right, so there, I'm going to let that dry for a bit. And then I need to bring in these two, and then just 2 leaves. All right, so now I'm going to need my dimensionals. And Dory was using them like crazy last night. If you guys were tuned in to our Stamp of the Month, she just uses lots of dimensionals. And then she leaves. And then I'm left with this. So, all right, let's go ahead, and I'm going to put this down. Let's see, right here. All right, then I'm just going to take a little bit of the Tombow and slide these 2 little leaves right in at the left-hand corner. Just put a little bit on the back of each, and they will stick pretty easily. Okay. And you want to make sure that they're not hanging over the side, or they won't fit in your envelope. And that would be sad. They would get crunched. All right, there we're going so far. Now, we have our 2 little sunflowers, and they need dimensionals as well. I'm using these little end pieces because that is all I have left. Yes, you need shiny paper. They have it in all colors. Shiny paper is wonderful. especially with the holidays coming up. You're right, Lisa. I'm going to tuck this one first in from the top. And again, you want to make sure that you tuck before and don't have it hanging off. And then this one I actually turned the other way and stuck the leaves underneath the flower. So we just had the flower at the bottom. Ooh, let's very close to the L. Let's move it in just a little more. That's better. All right, so there is our card. How easy was that to make? So pretty. So there's my original sample. And on my sample, and you can do this too, on my insert, I put a stamp, the sunflower as well. And this is cut at 8.5 by 3.25 is your insert piece. All right, I'm gonna make a blog post about these, and I will make sure all the measurements are on there. All right, so there's our card. All right, now what I want to show you is how easy it is to make the envelope. You're gonna just flip out when you see this. All right, let me go ahead and close that up. This is what we start with for our envelope. Believe it or not, you start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet. No cutting, we don't have to cut it at all. We start right like this. Isn't that great? It's easy to remember. So let me go ahead, and I gotta get my scoring board out, and we will get scoring. All right, let me show you again my little chart here. For the envelope, we start with an 8.5 inch by 11 inch piece of cardstock. So that's just a standard size that you get in your pack. On the long side, we're gonna score at 1 1/2 inch and 10 1/2 inch. And on the short side, score at 2.5 and 6.5. So easy, watch this, guys. Okay, bringing in my Simply Scored board again. All right, now, on the 11 inch side, this is the long side, we're gonna score at 1.5 and 10.5. Okay, 1.5 and 10.5. All right, now we're gonna turn it onto the short side, and this is going to be 2.5, 6.5. That's it. That is it. You're probably thinking to yourself, how in the world is that gonna make an envelope? Watch this, guys. So easy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and fold on all those score lines. Grab my bone folder and make sure those are nice crisp folds. Then we have this tiny little piece here, and then we have the larger 1.5 inch strip there. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my scissors, and what we're going to do, let's go ahead and focus on the 1.5 inch strip side. This is also crumb cake, Catherine. I use the crumb cake, but you can use any color. And I'm gonna cut up on the vertical score line just to the horizontal, and we're gonna cut this piece off. Okay, same thing over here. And you're probably starting to notice this is gonna be the flap that flaps on the outside of your card. Of your envelope, sorry, on the outside of your envelope. Okay, I'm going to grab my corner rounder punch, and I'm going to round these corners because we want that envelope to look nice there. All right, now let's go on the bottom. This is where that little 1/2 inch line is. I'm sorry, strip. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to cut off both sides of that bottom strip. And I did do a little bit of wedging here. Okay, all right, now we're actually done. And what's going to happen is we're going to bring these two together and then bring this one over. Okay, now I'm going to use glue. And what you want to do is you want to put a nice thin line of glue along the larger panel. This one is a little longer than this one. And Tom better cooperate today. I'm not going to be very patient with him today. But just a nice thin line, and then you're just going to bring the other end down and hold that on. He behaved himself today. I was having some trouble with Tom. He kept getting all plugged up. All right, and then I'm going to just put a little line of glue along the bottom and bring that up. And then I'm going to turn it over and really push down on that. Tombo does a great job, so we really don't have to push that hard. And there is your envelope. Now, when I went to the wedding, I wasn't going to have to send it, so I just put a little piece of washi tape on here to close it. You could also put a glue dot on there to close it. Now, if you're going to be sending it, you might want to make sure and use something a little stronger to close it. Okay, but that's up to you. So there's the envelope that the card goes in. Now, before I gave it to them, I wanted to always decorate. You know what Dory says about decorating your envelopes. Well, it's finally rubbing off on me. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some of the early espresso ink, and we're going to stamp just one of the large sunflowers right on the front, just for a little bit of something something on the corner there. Okay, so there's that. So that is my envelope. And then here's my card. And you notice that it's going to slide right in the envelope very easily. Okay, so that's how easy it is to make an envelope for your card. Okay, so again, let me show you. I'm going to post this on my group page, and I'm going to post it on my blog so everyone can get this information. That's right, Lisa, no naked envelopes. I've heard that a lot. So I will post this on my blog and in my Facebook group page, but I'm inviting everybody to give these Slimline cards a try. Let me show you a couple of the other ones I made. Here's one I made. It's a Christmas. Now, I used the Designer Series paper from the Snowflake Splendor, and then I made this card using the stamp set and dies. So you can also make it that it goes like vertical, like that, instead of this way. Now, I'm going to show you how I made these on Thursday, because I thought we needed to show a Christmas card. Then I had to pull out my mousse set again, and I used some of the new plaid paper, and I made this cute little mousse card. Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming, April. I enjoyed seeing everybody. And then you can put the mousse on the inside as well. So that's a really super cute one. I'm just kind of getting started with this. I'm really having fun. And then as you know, I really loved the goat set, Way to Goat, so I thought I would make a cute little goat card. And this one says, "You're the goat, greatest of all time." And then I used the alphabet set from the Playing with Patterns, and I made them all holding a letter from the word goat. And then I put congratulations on the inside, and then I had to add a little tin can there. But I love those little goats, so any chance I get to use my little goats, I'm going to do it. So this is a great congratulations card. But those are just a few, and here I made the envelope using Whisper White. So it really depends on what color you want to use, but I put a little goat on the front, of course. So that is what I have for you today. On Thursday, we'll make the snowflake card. And I will put this information on my Facebook page today. And what I want to do is for everyone that participates and makes a Slimline card to share, I am going to give you, I'm going to actually show you a picture. Here is a picture of the thank you gift you will get for participating in my card share. I'll put all the pictures that I receive on my blog so everybody can get to see them, and we'll get everybody making these cute little Slimline cards. All right, So I have some really fun goodies in that little box, and that will be your thank you for participating. So I will post all this information on my social media. I hope you will participate and make some Slimline cards of your own. But I will see you on Thursday for the Christmas card with the snowflakes. We'll go through that, and I'll go through the envelope process again as well. So thanks for joining me today, everyone. I hope you are inspired to try yourself, and take care. Bye-bye.